bit of a roll. They have not conceded a try in the second half of any of their last 5 League and Cup matches, and their only defeat in that sequence was a reverse of Wigan by 8 points to 4. The Castleford team lines up like this: Ryan McGoldrick at fullback. Then they go Richard Owen, Michael Shenton, Kirk Dixon and Stuart Donlan. It's Luke Dawn at standoff with Brent Sherwin at halfback. The forwards for Castleford: Liam Higgins, Scott Moore at hooker, Craig Hubie, Owen Guttenbeil, Matt Cook and Joe Westerman. And on the bench, it's Michael Korkidas, Ned Katic, Andrew Henderson and Ryan Clayton. And the coach is Terry Matheson. Now the Wildcats, they've got Matt Blaymire at full-back. Then it's Sean Gleeson, Tony Martin, Ryan Atkins and Scott Griggs, with Jamie Rooney and Danny Bruff at the heart of things. The forwards: Adam Watine, Sam Obston, Richard Moore, Duncan McGilvray, Jason Golden and Matty Dale. And on the bench for the Wildcats, Damien Blanche, Oliver Wilkes, Tavita Leolatu and youngster Kyle Bibb. And the coach is John Keir. So out they come, the teams on their way out here at the Millennium Stadium in Cardiff. The roof, as I say, is closed here again, and we'll have to wait and see during the course of the matches that we've got for you just how slippy this ground is. Remember, 12 months ago, the players were taken by surprise that the roof was closed and it was such a wet surface. Well, Ian Smith is the match referee, and our commentary team is waiting for us. Let's go upstairs to the gantry. The commentary team is headed by Bill Arthur.
Castleford Tigers certainly with a point to prove here at the Millennium Stadium after a miserable run. They've lost their last 3 League and Cup matches, and they're up against an informed Wakefield side. They've won their last 4 matches, so they have the form in the bag. The Castleford Tigers have the motivation, I think. They really are pumped up for this one, and what's more, they have some of the big guns back. One of them in there to make the tackle, Guttenbeil, a great presence in the side. Dawn, Hubie and Clayton also returning for this Castleford side, but it's Wakefield who have the wind in their sails on recent form, Phil.
And it's a fantastic occasion. It's the derby game, but played in a grand final-like arena, and I think that will hopefully bring the best out of both sets of players, some of which will never ever get to a final or grand final, but here have an opportunity to play on the biggest stage of their lives.
And great support for these two sides. It was evident on the motorway yesterday, and they've gone for a 40-20 early on. Wakefield haven't come off with it that time, and it's fielded by Ryan McGoldrick, who's just signed a new 4-year deal. It's a great piece of business by the Castleford Tigers club, wrapping him up, and wrapping, more to the point, Joe Westerman up for another 4 years as well. What a great way to go into this weekend.
It should give the Tigers a boost, but we've seen there within the first minute of this match, Wakefield's real strength as a side. They focus so much on their kick chase, having such great kickers as Rooney and Bruff in the team. It's obvious then that they would capitalise on that, and they sprint harder than many other teams in Super League to gain as much ground as possible.
Liam Higgins, shoulder, says Ian Smith, as an arm went swinging. One of the most vocal referees in the competition, Ian Smith. A real bark on him, and he's already at it out there. And evidence of the slippiness of this pitch as Sean Gleeson goes down. And that's a good chase from Castleford Tigers as well, denying him progress. And then the first penalty of the game, not square, I think.
You often see that, don't you? Just over-enthusiastic in defence. They got up, not got into position. Of course, number 3 there, Michael Shenton, not stood directly in front of the man playing the ball. Relieves a little bit of pressure there from Wakefield, who were trapped close to their own line.
The Wakefield fans finding their voices there. There's a huge army of Wakefield fans here. They've, I think, sold all their allocation of tickets and at the club, and plenty more down here in Cardiff following the side. There were plenty more on the motorway yesterday, and a touching little scene on the M6 when Castleford and Wakefield team buses pulled into the same service station, and they find themselves sharing a cup of coffee on their way to Cardiff. But there is no civility out there now as these two sides go head-to-head, and Wakefield putting the first real pressure on this Castleford Tigers defence. And the ball is played by Jason Golden. And there is the Tigers coach, Terry Maddison. Rooney. Bruff now stabs the kick in. That's going to sit up in the in-goal area, and McGoldrick is going to struggle to get that one out of trouble. He's not going to go anywhere.
Just talking to a couple of friends of mine at Wakefield, they said they worked really hard on the kick chase and they were going to look to put pressure on Castleford and make them work hard. It's Danny Brough who puts a left-footed kick, but just look at how many Wakefield players are joining in that kick chase, making it impossible for Ryan McGoldrick to get out of his in-goal area.
Oliver, wait.
Brent Sherwin restarts that one. Rooney is underneath it. Here's Adam Watine back in the side, has been absent for a couple of weeks on compassionate leave after a family bereavement meant he had to return to the Southern Hemisphere. But John Keir glad to have Watine back. And here's another of the big guns, Richard Moore, outstanding in the comeback victory against Harlequins last weekend. Brough now stabs the kick in. It's ricocheted. Back to him. Blaymeyer still going. That's the 5th tackle. Obst, he puts the kick in, and Rooney was chasing that one, and offside, says Ian Smith, and the penalty will go to Wakefield. That's a harsh, and it's right, but it's a harsh justice, isn't it?
I'm quite confident as well that Joe Westerman knew that he was offside. He had the time to realise, stood at marker position, that as it ricocheted off his teammate, he came back but thought the safest option was to put the ball soccer style over the dead ball line. And now we'll see Wakefield with the first opportunity to score in this game via a penalty. I think the size of the in-goal areas and the length of the grass encourages teams to kick the ball into these in-goal zones so much when we come down to Cardiff.
So Danny Brough teeing this one up. It should be a formality for him. He's kicked 30 already this season. A little number 7, well known to Terry Mattison and John Keir, the two coaches here. Brough gets Wakefield Trinity Wildcats off the mark with a simple penalty.
It's a very simple equation for the Castleford Tigers played this afternoon, and that is the man in your picture that they have got to keep quiet. Won't be easy for them. Danny Brough, one of the stars throughout this year.
Well, there is Joe Westerman. We mentioned this 4-year deal that he signed. That is a great accolade for the club, because there was a lot of interest in him, wasn't there?
Well, one of the benefits of this weekend might be for international rugby league. Joe Westerman probably won't play in the grand final this year and might not even make it to the Chance Cup final, but he has a chance of representing England in the World Cup, and if he is to do that, then playing in a different environment at a higher level could certainly be an experience that he would gain from here, as will maybe one or two of the other young Castleford players.
Westerman involved in the tackle there with Scott Moore.
I'll tell you what, Phil, don't tell anybody in Castleford that they're not going to a final, they'll rip your head off.
3, stand, 4 feet.
So Wakefield in possession, and they have another penalty. Craig Humey mystified by that one.
And the referee just said he held on for too long, interference. And again now, it's the second time you've seen a penalty just to assist the Wakefield side out of their own 20-metre zone. Perplexed look from the prop forward.
No second efforts, wait.
Wakefield have already got a victory over the Castleford Tigers under their belts, having beaten them 28 points to 16 at Easter on a very wet Good Friday. No prospect of that. Very humid in here already. And now here's McGilvray. That distinctive red scrum cap that he wears. Tony Martin with his distinctive headgear on as well.
3, Scott, you're out of it.
Obst, Brough showed it to Watine, but finds Richard Moore instead, and Moore, that's great footwork from the big guy, great strength from the big man, and here's Blaymeyer now. Blaymeyer eventually taken to ground on the 20-metre line. Moore, a towering presence for this Wakefield Trinity Wildcats side. Now Brough, he looked as though he was going to hoist that one wide. In the end, he just put it into space for McGoldrick, and then McGoldrick puts Donlan under a little bit of pressure. Thank you very much indeed.
I think good play though by Ryan McGoldrick. Being able to predict where Danny Brough is going to put the ball is going to be a major element in whether Castleford can win here today. It's almost like a spot the ball competition, isn't it, predicting where it's going to land.
Well, that was Pretty wild pass from McGoldrick, and the Tigers fortunate that it went into the hands of a teammate, and fortunate still that Kirk Dixon picked that one up. That was good from Dixon. Well, they've got out of jail there, because for one moment looked as though they were heading for the touchlines. Oh, and then Guttenbeil not impressed with that from Atkins, and Ryan Atkins wanted another discussion about that. Not sure that's wise.
Well, one of his strengths is the physicality, isn't it, of Atkins? He gets involved in the collision just too high, isn't it? His left arm ripped over the top, and Owen Guttenbeil just picks him to one side. It's the offload. As he's dragged into touch, Owen knows he has to keep the ball alive. And even though they are at the bottom of the league and the bottom of the table, confidence doesn't seem to be a problem for the Tigers. They've shifted the ball both to the left and right, near their own line already.
Hold, wait, son, wait.
Well, plenty of positivity about the Castleford Tigers in this last week. Of course, you had the Dwayne Chambers business last weekend, which turned out to be a good day for everybody concerned. A big crowd and lots of good feedback from that. And then you've got the Westerman and McGoldrick contracts giving more positive news for the club. All they need now is a good result here, but Wakefield determined to deny them that. Here's Sherwin, who's settled in well with the Tigers. Missed only one game since signing from the Canterbury Bulldogs. Sherwin has. Dawn now. Moore. That's the fifth tackle on the 30-metre line. Sherwin, they're running this one, but nowhere for Shenton to go. Gets the ball away, and that's going to be snapped up by Watine. That was loose and scrappy from the Tigers.
Well, it was a nice option, wasn't it, to try and run the ball in the last, but a good defence, and you have to compliment Wakefield, whose goal line defence this year has been exceptional. It's probably the thing that's helped them to win so many of the matches. Very, very strong when teams get close to the line.
If only Castleford had the same problem. They have conceded 114 points in their last 3 games. And they'll be glad to see the jungle again, the Tigers, because they've been on the road for the last 3 games as well, in London, in France, and now in Cardiff. It's an exotic lifestyle. Donlan fields that ball and then finds McGoldrick, and they're looking to give it some width at every opportunity.
Nice rugby league, isn't it? They're wanting to counter-attack on the first play. And against it, as the game wears on, that sort of play will test the defence of the Wakefield side to see if every man's being honest, coming up in the line and prepared to work the full width of the pitch.
Westerman's lost his footing and he's lost the ball as well, and he's furious.
Little bit of positional play. The Tigers will be looking, and the coach Terry Matheson, when they were trying to run the last play on that left-hand side, really they should have been looking to kick into the corner. They haven't had many opportunities to apply the pressure to the Wildcats. And Terry Matheson will be very disappointed that they have not utilised the kick.
There is the Tigers coach. And here is Wakefield on the attack with Martin. Hit a bit of form, Tony Martin, in the last few weeks. He's got tries in the last 2 games from that centre position for the Wildcats. Now Sam Obst. McGilvray. One of the Scottish internationals out there on the field. Scotland's International Player of the Year last season, Duncan McGilvray, looking forward to World Cup involvement. Watine as well on the charge. That looked forward.
That's really strong defence from Castleford. Defence is an attitude. Castleford looks okay so far.
Brough with the kick. They're all chasing it, but good work, I think, from McGoldrick again to come across. Owen it was who salvaged that, and he was brave as well, because there were 3 big Wakefield chasers there. That ball's been knocked down, and Wakefield have it back. Ian Smith wiping the tackle count clean. McGilvray on the charge. Well, that was smart thinking from Wakefield. The ball just punched out of the hands, and now they are on the attack with Rooney. Rooney, though, loses ground as he's driven to the deck. Dixon it was with the tackle. Westerman in there as well. Golden. And they're right in front of those posts now. Watine on the charge, and Watine is over the try line. He's back. Watine is back with a bang. He gets the first try of the game, and they took full advantage of that situation, the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats, forcing the error, regaining possession, and Watine getting the try.
Well, you know, there's a little bit of debate over this mistake here, because you could have asked the question, do Wakefield punch this ball out, in which case it is then a knock-on? In fact, amazingly, it's Watine who's involved in the tackle. His right hand freed the ball, gifted them this field position, but look at the determination on that run. You saw in the first step he took in that run here as he takes possession that there was no way he was going to be denied. He recognised an opportunity and he seized it with both hands.
And do you think that went back? He punched the ball out and it went backwards?
I think he was in the act of just getting involved in the tackle, obviously seen by the official. Ian Smith thought that he was involved into trying to put the man carrying the football. Pretty impressive though by Wakefield. They do that quite a lot. They use the little halfbacks, and of course this fella Danny Brough, Jamie Rooney, and then when you throw Sam Obst into the mix, you think to yourself it confuses a lot of the defensive patterns.
They lead by 8 points to 0. And Watine, the try scorer, his second try of the season, and that on his 50th appearance for the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats. Good way to celebrate your half-century for the club. So Dixon with the restart. It was his hands that Watine hit, and there is Watine again. There's Kurt Dixon. You probably feel a bit aggrieved about that. Richard Moore, hand off to Watine. Dale now driving forward, signed on loan, Matty Dale from Hull. Now Tony Martin getting away down the right hand side. He's got support on the inside from Rooney. Rooney has support from Obst, and he's brought down just short of the try line. Great tackle from Shenton, but they're still in here. Surely they've got numbers out wide, must be one of them, and Brough losing his footing. If they get out of this, it'll be miraculous. Obst for the try line. He's got that ball down. They haven't got out of it. Wakefield have got another try. Well, they went the long way round. Rooney stopped just short. Brough heading in the wrong direction, and then Obst getting over the try line. So back-to-back tries for the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats. Obst with the latest of them.
Well, I suppose you'd have to give so much credit here to the two front rowers. Moore and Watine's determination to run hard and then keep the ball alive is what offered them the position here. On the back of that, McGilvray with a wonderful pass out the back there to Tony Martin. And again, look at Castleford's effort to get back to deny the try. I thought Rooney would score for certain. Obst again on his inside, but the Castleford Tigers survived for 2 more plays before Obst picked it up, went hard for the gap, and his speed close to the line was a determining factor in the Wakefield extend their lead.
Sam Obst, the leading try scorer for this Wakefield side. It's his 7th of the season, and Brough should add another conversion to his tally for the day. He has fond memories of this stadium, Danny Brough, having won the Challenge Cup here in 2005 with Hull FC. And he's on target again. He was on target in 2005, he's on target for the Wildcats. They're on target, 14-0 already.
As Sam Obst at acting half picks the ball up, it's Craig Hubie at the first defender that's totally undecided on what to do. And John Key is so delighted that Wakefield are in the position that they are.
Just shows you the confidence that you have when you've got a second row like McGilvray that can look for an offload out on the wide. He often runs out there on that right centre, but it was a superb offload that set Martin on the way to what was going to be the second try for the Wildcats. The Tigers, they've got to tighten up their defence. There's plenty of holes appearing.
Well, it's why they've conceded 114 points in these last 3 games. They are a bit fragile.
Well, if you look at a lot of the detailed stats, Castleford are doing quite well this season. In fact, they're outplaying Wakefield in many of them, but Wakefield's ability to score and turn their chances into points is perhaps better than the Tigers at present. Here's an early kick from Danny Brough. Just look at Richard Moore chase after it.
Oh, and McGoldrick keeps that one in, but in fact, I think McGoldrick has put a foot in touch, and they will get head and feed at this scrum.
And you often hear coaches talk about momentum being in their team's favour. Basically, the pendulum of possession has been with the Wakefield side, but they're able to convert that here now with a wonderful kick. Now then, we'd like to see that here on this angle. McGoldrick tries to keep the ball inside, but you see his foot already on the line, hence the reason why that now is said. He's taken the ball, it's already gone over the line, out of play.
Although Ian Smith just told Ryan McGoldrick it was a 40-20. Well, anyway, Wakefield get head and feet at the scrum. Rooney. Martin.
Hold. Go. Ball.
Martin going on his own. He had Sean Gleeson in support. So Wakefield really turning the screw now, and Castleford up against it. Ollie Wilkes is on the charge.
10 metres, Joe. 3. Go.
They have their tails up at the moment, these Wildcats. Danny Brough trying to wrong foot them. Oh, they've got another opportunity out wide. They'll be in out wide. Griggs with the try on that far side. Moore flinging the ball out. And Mattison with plenty to think about already. A shake of the head. Where is it going wrong for his side? Griggs with his 4th try of the season.
Well, with Danny Brough striking the ball the way he is today, it's no surprise that the Wakefield side favour the 40-20 play. It's what's got them into this position. But then again, being at the right end of the field isn't the only thing. You see, as the kick goes involved here now, it's a deep kick down from Danny Brough early in the tackle count. The fact he's on the sideline means that he's out of play. It's a 40-20. But just because they're in this position, you can't take that for granted it's going to be points. They've got several runners of the ball. They then keep it alive to Moore, and that's a wonderful pass. Look, it's 2 or 3 metres in front of the ball carrier, Griggs, but he's able to predict where Griggs needs to be to make that a try. Does it wonderfully.
Well, that's 3 tries in something like 7 minutes for this Wakefield side.
And fully deserved. They're full of confidence, they're keeping the ball alive, but the most important factor is that yet again the ability to be able to suck in the defence and then offload. Wonderful play from Danny Brough. He threw the dummy, up the post.
Well, if that's all they've got to complain about at the end of the day, it won't be a bad evening for the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats. Griggs, the latest try scorer, they are running hot at the moment. Confidence is high, and this, despite they've got a catalogue of injuries, but John Keir has already said they're not going to bellyache about that. They're coping very well without them.
Well, you hope that Castleford can maintain some sort of composure here, because with 60 minutes to go, only being 3 scores behind isn't insurmountable. You know, if you look at all the games played in the Millennium Magic last year, you see that all of them, with the exception of one, had more than 50 points scored in them. They tend to be high-scoring matches when we come down here for Millennium Magic. Plenty of points left still in this one.
Brough through the tackles with ease, past another one with ease. He's got away from McGoldrick. Oh, Rooney has got support out wide. It's Moore again. Moore will go all the way. Moore in the corner. Griggs was in support, but Moore will get there. Oh, more than merrier for the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats. And Castleford Tigers don't know what's hit them. Richard Moore, the latest try scorer, made that 4 tries in 7 minutes now.
Well, I said that there were high-scoring games when you come down here, but they might be all for one team this afternoon in this game. Wakefield are unstoppable. It's superb to watch. They really are on fire. You know what, to score 2 back-to-back tries, this now being the second one in the game for them. They've gone wide here. Look, Danny Brough just siding through the defence, pushing away from defenders. And look at the number of supporting players around him. There are 6 players that he could give the ball to. Eventually it goes to Rooney. He passes it on to Moore, who still has 20 metres to go when he receives the ball. Danny Brough's shown us that he can kick the ball well, but he's also shown us that he can run the ball equally as dangerously. Takes on the defensive line, at the right time finds his supporting players alongside him, and Moore's determination, there's no way he's going to be stopped. Brilliant effort from the big fella.
Well, we talk about Joe Westerman having international potential. Richard Moore has obviously bags of potential as well.
He has, and I think giving a wave to his wife at home, who by the looks of it is expecting, but Richie Moore worked really, really hard there. Started on his own 20-metre line and just kept with him. And I know she's pregnant, by the way. I saw her in HMV in Leeds. Lad's just panicking. thinking that I've sold myself short there, but great work from Richard Moore.
Well, we made the question, didn't we, early in the game, that the Tigers had to keep a good eye out for Danny Brough. He went through no less than 4 would-be attempted tackles, and you can't afford to do that against a talented halfback like Danny Brough. He's controlling the things out there, and as I say, once you get the combination between Rooney and Sam Obst, it's extremely difficult to keep them quiet.
Well, they just can't keep Wakefield quiet at the moment, and it's already looking bleak for the Castleford Tigers. Wilkes and Korkidas going head-to-head there. Korkidas in once more with the tackle on McGilvery. And again, they're looking to get this ball out wide early on. Atkins is tackled, and John Keir, calmness personified there. A little kick chase for Rooney, and nobody wants it for the Castleford Tigers. A little bit of hesitation there before Clayton got the ball.
I don't think any of them are sure what the ball was, because it's that long since they've actually touched it, particularly in their opponent's half. This is an alien experience for them now, but they need to work their way back into it. There's no point hanging back 10 metres behind the ball. Either get hold of it or get in support of the man with possession.
Obst was just struggling in back play, having taken a bit of a knock. He seems to be all right though. Castleford Tigers with a rare bit of possession now. Sherwin, here is McGoldrick. McGoldrick flings the ball out wide. Well, they've got to chance their arm now, really, if they're going to try and give themselves some hope. Plenty of time to go in this game. We've seen it in Super League that big comebacks are possible, but not when you kick the ball immediately to the opposite winger, Griggs, and he threatens to get away. So Wakefield back in possession. Blaymeyer takes the tackle just inside his own 20, and here is Richard Moore once more. What about his international potential?
He's just picking up where he left off last week. He had a fantastic second half last week. There's 25 minutes on the clock and he's still going strong. He's got every chance of going to the World Cup.
He's an England A international already, Richard Moore. McGoldrick will field that ball, but Tavita Leolatu herring downfield. Oh, and then McGoldrick flings that one back in field for Donlan and says, you deal with it, and Donlan does, thankfully.
He had to throw the ball though because of the effort from 3 of the Wakefield chasers to almost trap him in goal. We've talked before, when they kick the ball, Wakefield, they chase as though they're almost sprinting to score a try. Is it a knock-on?
Gone backwards, says Ian Smith. Sigh of relief from Castleford Tigers players. Sherwin is tackled. Tony Smith, the England coach here today, well, he'll be impressed with the performance from Richard Moore so far. Westerman in possession, maybe one for the future. Tackled just short of the halfway line. Here is Scott Moore, and that's a deep kick, and Gleeson, neat footwork, retrieves the ball. Switch from centre to wing this last few weeks for the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats, Sean Gleeson.
Keep coming, Michael. Go, 2.
McGilvery in possession. Richard Moore taking a well-earned breather. Kyle Bibb coming on for the Wildcats. Wilkes takes the tackle. Tavita Leolatu. Brough now. Brough, that kick's charged down, but Henderson didn't see where it had gone and didn't really react, and so it's back 2-1 for the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats.
Well, tough call, wasn't he? He turned his back on the ball, not sure what was going to happen, and it landed kindly for Blaymeyer. Leolatu now dangerous in the middle of the field. Is there any way of stopping this Wakefield side?
The roof is on, Phil, but I just don't think you can put the lid on the Wakefield lads' enthusiasm today.
Or the roof has fallen in on the Castleford Tigers. It's Wakefield Trinity Wildcats in possession with Sam Obst. That was obstruction. Bit of a tangle there between Wilkes and Obst.
Well, the Tigers needed that.
Just trying to be a little bit too clever, which is, well, not disappointing, I suppose, for their coach John Keir, because they have been extremely industrious. Little doubt about it. Korkidas never had any opportunity to get in a position to get in the heavy tackle, but the Tigers really have to regroup. They've got to just go back to basics and try to get good field position and hope that they can just sneak a try. They need something to lift them.
Hold. Go.
And another problem for the Castleford Tigers, because Aaron Guttenbeil is off the field with a calf injury, so that's a blow. He's only just come back for the side. But here's Kirk Dixon on the charge. Terry Madison, the Tigers coach, hoping that his side can get something on the board before half-time to give themselves a bit of a spur, just something to cling on to. As McGoldrick gets the ball away, and they did well to retrieve that ball. It was Hubie who clung on, almost intercepted. Dawn now. Dawn, the pass is into touch.
Well, you feel the pain, don't you, that the players are suffering at present. Let's put it directly in between two players. Almost straight towards the touch judge. They've panicked here. It's difficult, perhaps without the experience of Guttenbeil. Sometimes we don't get to hear the voice that's going on, the talk between the team. But when you're losing 24 points to nil with 50 minutes and more to go, you need somebody to say the right things, and you need the team to follow those instructions.
He's missed the last 2 games. He's come back today, and he's off the field with a calf injury. It's a problem for the Castleford Tigers. Well, this one is followed by the big heavyweight clash between the Bradford Bulls and the Leeds Rhinos. 7 o'clock kickoff, Sky Sports 2 and HD2. That follows, and still to come, extended highlights from Huddersfield against Warrington. That's at 9 o'clock.
That just about sums up the Wakefield defence, because they're allowing people to go into the tackle, then released, offload.
Gleeson comes back in field, and there's acres of space for Gleeson. There is for Rooney, and Rooney for the line. He's just short, is he? Ian Smith reckons that's going to be a video ref decision. I'm not sure whether Rooney reached the line.
I don't think he's got anywhere near trying to put the ball down. I think he realises he's still in the field of play.
Let's give credit to the Castleford lads, though. They haven't given up. It's McGoldrick who denies Rooney, if in fact he has denied him, and Henderson fresh on the pitch.
It's the video ref's call.
I think it's short, it's just to play the ball. Did well, McGoldrick, to try to reef the ball away.
Well, you only need to get the ball on the white line, and from that angle, Mike, it does look as though the ball's on the line.
Has it got the tip of the ball? Maybe you're right. We'll probably get a better view on this angle. As I say, the fullback McGoldrick did everything to try to prevent it. Good positioning by Ian Smith, but is he close? Is he there? That's very difficult.
It's a hard call. You reckon a try? Well, it's his 60th if it's awarded. Or have Castleford survived this one? Rooney waits for the decision. The try is denied.
Momentarily, though. Still 2 tackles left. He'll play the ball 10 metres from the line.
Well, the video referee, Steve Ganson, got it spot on that occasion. He didn't panic either, Rooney. He didn't try to do a double movement.
I don't think the Castleford players would let him, Steve, or they did an excellent job there.
Here's Blaymeyer. That is the 5th tackle. Tavita Leolatu. Here's Danny Bruff. Stabs the kick in. The chasers are there. Well, that's good covering defence. McGoldrick is there again to rescue the situation for the Castleford Tigers. It looked as though he was going to be beaten to the ball for a moment.
Well, they're a team who complement one another's skills. You see, Obst and Rooney are prepared to chase those kicks. They're very quick, close to the line. And Bruff has the accuracy and the weighting on so many of his kicks that become so dangerous. Working together, it's forced another goal line dropout.
Gleeson retrieves that ball, so the respite is only momentary for the Castleford Tigers. Wakefield are going to come hammering at them again, as they have done virtually for this entire first half. And that's a penalty. Korkidas,
Silly
to
play.
The frustration of his coach, Terry Madison, is penalised.
Silly play. The tackle had been affected. Korkidas coming in late. Sheer frustration. We keep looking at the scoreboard, and it's a kick into the corner. And what tricks has Danny Brough got up his sleeve this time?
Another problem for the Tigers. Brent Sherwin isn't out there anymore. He's on the sidelines.
4 feet behind the line. Net, 4 feet.
So they really are up against it. They've only had half an hour of the game. It's
You're off.
not shaping up to be a happy afternoon for these Tigers. And that ball reaches Griggs on that far side. Griggs, fancy footwork from the Irish international, coming back in field. Tackled on the 10-metre line. Atkins will take it up himself. Henderson stands his ground for the Tigers. Dixon in there as well. Obbs now. Rooney's lost that ball, and that's another let-off.
It's one of very few mistakes by this Wakefield side. You know, we're approaching the halfway stage almost in this Super League competition, and one or two people were asking me whether Wakefield will be in the playoffs. I couldn't see it. I just didn't think that they had the squad necessary. But on the evidence of what we've seen here today, on a bigger stage, they've certainly got the ability. They've been clinical in so much they've done. They've converted the chances, and they not only have skill, they have that vital quality of speed.
Henderson has lost that one, and it went backwards, said Ian Smith. He attempted to pass it, and somehow it ended up back in his hands. Korkidas still going almost up to the halfway line for the one-time captain of the Greek national side, Michael Korkidas, in an international against Malta a few years ago. Dawn thumps the kick downfield, and he's chasing it for all he's worth on Blaymire, and that's encouraging for the Castleford Tigers at least.
That's better work from Castleford. Luke Dawn put the kick in and chased real hard. His teammates backed him up on that occasion, and they need to put some pressure defensively on Wakefield and force that error.
3. Back it up. Hold.
But Wakefield has shown they can attack this Tigers defence from deep. Brough did that for the earlier try. Here's Kyle Bibb.
10 metres. Move. Go.
That's the 5th tackle. Brough straight down the middle into the waiting hands of Ryan McGoldrick. A rare duff kick from Brough. McGoldrick again willing to give it air. And the Wakefield defenders again there in numbers to bring down Michael Owen, and they get the penalty.
Well, maybe there's just an opportunity here for Castleford to go in at half-time with some confidence.
Michael Owen, they could do with Michael Owen.
They could probably do with Dwayne Chambers. They need some speed out there, don't they? They haven't looked threatening. They get a penalty here now, and it gives them a good opportunity with 6 tackles to attack now with some confidence. But look, Scott Moore on his own. His teammates are more than 5 metres behind him. They need to push up in support to give him some support.
Here is Korkidas again. He's worked hard since he's come on. He was dropped a couple of weeks ago for the game against Hull. Very dejected about that. He's fought his way back into the side, but they've got some fighting to do here at the Castleford Tigers. If they can get something on the board before half-time, at least it'll give them a bit of a positive edge going into the dressing room. They're coming down the short side. Moore, great hands, and Owen is in the corner, is he? Again, Ian Smith goes to the video ref to see whether Richard Owen managed to squeeze that into the corner there, the 18-year-old. He's taken a bang for his pains.
Great skills from Dixon. And Owen, does he get low in the...
Yes.
He does. He gets the ball onto the line. It's a good try from Castleford. They've worked the short side so well. And look, it's been hard to break Wakefield's defence. They've found, what, a metre in which to get through, and Owen squeezed into that gap.
Another one of the precocious youngsters at this Castleford club. Richard Owen gets the try that gives him a bit of hope to cling to as the first half comes to an end. And he did do well there because he didn't have a lot of room to work in. Really tight in the corner there.
And you can trace some of this fighting comeback to the way that they chased the kick when Luke Dawn put it in. But it's wonderful skills, that. You know, for Kirk Dixon to soft hands with Scott Moore, catch and pass almost instantaneously, and put it easily for Owen to just get the ball and then put it into the corner. And with the 2 co-captains off the field in Sherwin and Guttenbeil, the young guys out there are doing remarkably well.
Dixon, if he can land this, it'll be a big boost for the side. What a kick from the touchline from Kirk Dixon. That's a way to give your side the lift. 6th goal of the season, converting the try from Richard Owen, his 3rd of the season. They've got a little bit rope to cling to.
You just feel that Castleford aren't panicking. They've been in this position so many times over the year that they know what to do. It's glorious hands here from Kirk Dixon. That's the most difficult skill in rugby league, to catch and pass all in the same moment. Richard Owen is aware of the sideline and puts the ball down. Castleford are off the mark.
Tricky spiralling restart. Donlan underneath it for the Castleford Tigers, who trail by 24 points to 6 with 4 minutes of this first half to go.
And it'll be a lift also for the coach, Terry Matheson, because he knows that for a lot of this first half, their defensive pattern has been all astray. Oh, a big hit coming in there from Leo Latu there. But the mere fact that they went back to basics, just solid, good, solid work. Corkidas leading the way, put them into a position. They know they've got the quality out wide, Castleford. They've just got to make sure they get good position.
But they've got Guttenbeil and Sherwin off the field. The pass was from the ground. And a bit of mystification. Hubie claiming he wasn't even tackled.
Well, the referee said he was. His progress had been halted and he was held by a man on the floor. Okay, the ball carrying harm hadn't hit the deck.
Once his momentum has stopped, then that's it.
Tackle's over, I
Had
think.
his momentum stopped?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so as well. You can't fault his effort. Just needs to be channeled in the right direction.
Adam Watine, one of the try scorers for the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats in what's been a fantastic first 40 minutes for them against their big local rivals. This is one of the must-win games of the season for Trinity supporters. And at the moment, they're enjoying their time in Cardiff. I'm sure they've been enjoying it already. There's definitely been a welcome in the hillsides. Obst, this first half could yet have a sting in it for the Castleford Tigers. They really can't afford to allow Wakefield to get any more on the board here. Rooney now, Watine again. Unable to offload that, but Henderson pounces on it and sighs of relief from the Castleford Tigers supporters.
Well, I still think there's chance for Castleford to come back and win this match. And it was vital at that point that they deny the Wakefield attack. Okay, the 3 converted scores behind. They've seen off that threat here. Now, with 2 minutes, what sort of energy have they got left? What optimism maybe here to move this ball around? It's a great opportunity. Can they convince it now and convert it into points? Look, Watine offloads the ball, but Henderson the first to pounce to it. Some positives for the coach to pick on at half-time.
Matt Cook it was playing the ball. Cook on loan from the Bradford Bulls. Coming up towards the final minute of this first half. Here is Henderson. Dawn now with Sherwin off. There's much more responsibility for Dawn. And that ball has kindly popped up in the centres for Westerman. He wasn't tackled, says Ian Smith. Play on. Castleford Tigers have a penalty. Now then, do they take the 2 points? Or do they try and keep the momentum going?
I think they've really got to go for a try. It'll just rock the confidence of the Wakefield outfit, but they were appealing to the official that in the build-up to this there was a forward pass, not seen by the touch judge or the man with the whistle.
So into the last minute of this first half, the Castleford Tigers looking for another score to narrow the gap still further, and Corkidas on the charge. Corky's still going. He's heading for that try line. A roar goes up for the Castleford Tigers supporters. Henderson, McGoldrick, Dawn, they've got men out wide. Clayton can't get it to them, and the ball went forward. If Clayton could have clung on to that, Terry Matheson knows they could have been in at the corner. What an opportunity that was for the Castleford Tigers.
They haven't given up, have they? Just a deft little pass or a soft hands pass would have done there, but the pressure coming in from Gleeson forced the Castleford player to pass it as quick as he could. I just want to pay tribute to Joe Westerman. Just 1 or 2 minutes ago, he got a clout off Adam Watine, went on the floor and got up as quick as he can and carried on. That's tough, that.
And the hooter sounds. And Castleford Tigers can leave this field maybe feeling not quite as dejected as they did do after half an hour when Wakefield Trinity Wildcats were ripping into them and led by 24 points to 0. Owen's try, Dixon's goal toward the end, has meant that at half-time the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats are ahead but Castleford Tigers still have hope. 24 points to 6 to the Wildcats.